Good morning, Mr. President. Thank you for taking the time to hear myself and some of my group members discuss the Christian perspectives on the tough issues that are facing our country today. I'll be talking about the issue of illegal immigration in our country that's become more prevalent over the last 8 to 10 years. The first thing that we'd like to do as a group, as official government policy, would be to maintain a strong border. We don't necessarily appreciate the fact that anyone can get across right now if they have a little bit of money and willing to take a little bit of a risk. The reasons that we like to maintain a strong border are to keep the drugs out of our country. Many of the illegal drugs that are used in America are being used because they've been shipped across the Mexican-American border. And also the violence that takes place on the border and the violence that is associated with the drugs that come across. A lot of our prisons today are filled with drug users, drug dealers, or people whose lives have been shattered by the use of drugs. Also, just the international safety. There's no reason to say that some of the terrorists that are today in our country or have affected our country in the past have come across the border that way. We feel that maintaining a strong border will prevent all three of those things and help our country be more prosperous. Also, the legislation that we'd like to see passed by Congress to help those things are to maintain the strong border. We'd like to give more money in that direction. Although a lot of money is given that way in the past, we'd like to see it used better. It had been wasted, not necessarily on the wall, which some could say it'd be a waste of money, but we'd also like to see more border patrol, better border patrol, and research into a virtual wall. With all the technology we have today, it seems possible we could have a laser wall or a motion sensitive wall, something that would take less money to maintain, less money to build, maybe less manpower to maintain, but still have the same effect of keeping a firm, strong border. Although as Christians we do want a safe country through all those things, safe from drugs, safe from violence, and safe from terrorists, we also know that a good majority of the people that are coming across aren't terrorists, drug dealers, or violent people that are looking to harm America. A good amount of people that are coming across are just people that are in search for a better life. And as Christians, we definitely understand that. And we view them as humans, not necessarily what can we get out of them as Americans. That's why we propose that we should expand legal immigration. The people that are from Mexico that have a clean background seem to be productive members of society. The reason why we can't let more of those people in our country, because America is a place that allows all kinds of different people. And if we have more productive members of society coming from Mexico, then so be it. It just creates more competition. We propose that right now the quota is very small with the number of people that are allowed to come across, possibly triple, quadruple that. And if you crack down on the border, as we talked about earlier, it should equal out, but you're going to have a better group of people in. The change in behavior that we'd like to see in America is that the immigrants are look beyond just being immigrants, or looking beyond what can they do for us economically, but realize that they are people. They are people too, just like us. Many of them are also Christians coming across. We really do need to view them as people, because God doesn't, when God is judging people, He doesn't look at, oh well, they're Mexican, they're Americans. He looks at your heart. And although it's impossible in many ways for humans to do that, if we can at least try to be like God in that way and view them as just other people, not necessarily exactly where they came from. And most important for the Christian perspective is to realize that the borders in our world will eventually fade away. This is not our kingdom. To those who believe, God said that the real kingdom is in heaven. The borders change. The borders will be different in 50 years, in 100 years, and who knows, their countries in the world could be completely different, completely shaken up as they were 100 years ago. So the fact that we have diversity and changing in our country isn't necessarily a bad thing. We just need to set our sights on a different goal, that being heaven, that there's something more important than necessarily what's going on here. Thank you, Mr. President, for listening to us, and enjoy the other presentations.